Chair recognizes Representative Finney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for your time and your patience today. Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution reads in part, "The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution or, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments." The application for a convention of states is important for specific amendments that impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, to limit the power and the jurisdiction of the federal government, and to limit the terms of office for members of Congress. This committee agrees that Congress has neglected their duties and ignored the people for far too long. United States Congress has usurped states' rights. They've driven up the national debt with reckless monetary policy and corruption with campaign funding and electoral monopoly. In order to maintain the checks and balances outlined in the Constitution, the states must call a convention of states to propose these specific amendments. Let me be very clear right now. An Article 5 convention is not a constitutional convention that has been misrepresented over and over again through the years that our committee has heard this issue. An Article 5 convention is only to propose amendments, only amendments to the Constitution. It is not to rewrite the Constitution, to remake it, to remold it, to do anything other than to propose amendments for future generations. There is no such thing as a runaway convention. It is a myth perpetuated by people that don't understand how this process works.
The member will suspend. It's getting awful loud in here. If you want to have a conversation, take it out into the ante room. Thank you. Member may continue.
Thank you. We have a duty to future generations to protect their rights, to protect the integrity of our economy and elections, and to rebalance state-federal power. An Article 5 convention is the safest, nonviolent, and bipartisan way to reform the government, to use the Constitution that we are all sworn to protect and to uphold and to obey. As of today, 39 states have passed a valid application for a convention for fiscal responsibility alone, while 19 states total have passed applications for a convention to propose all 3 amendments. We can be the 20th state to tell our federal Congress that they suck. It is all right.
That's inappropriate.
I apologize. We know the truth. Over 400 applications since 1788, 400 applications for a convention of states have been passed. Since 1789, Congress has proposed 12,000 amendments. 33 proposed amendments to the states for ratification have been sent, but only 27 have been ratified by the required percentage of states, which is 3/4. To prevent future corporatism and plutocracy that is infesting our country currently, a convention of states is the only way to reform the government, to make it work for the people again, and to force Congress to stop ignoring us. And the only reason I'm so aggressive about this issue is because we are $32 trillion in debt. I don't know if anyone understands how big of a number that really is. It is a solemn duty as a legislature, as a governing body, to send a message to Congress that we're not playing around anymore. Congress has ignored us, ignored the people, and driven our country into the extremism and political apathy that we see today. Something has to give and something has to change. And we can be a part of that change if we're brave enough to vote in favor of the ought to pass for HCR 1 for only the application for a convention of states to utilize the power that the founders gave us, who had the foresight to understand that societal, cultural, and technological evolution will happen in our society, and the only way that we can change it is to use the Constitution that we're all sworn to protect. Please vote in favor of HCR 1 today. Thank you.